Many of you guys watching this video have probably friends out there that have an incredibly toxic, miserable, and borderline, mental health issue inducing relationship with League of Legends. Others have a great relationship with League. They love it, they're getting results, they're climbing, they're having a blast, and they view it as a really important part of their life. How is it that we live in a time where there is this massive divide in terms of people thinking League is the greatest game on the earth and other people thinking it is the bane of their existence? How is this possible? And basically, in this video, what I want to do is kind of deconstruct what I believe is to be the core reason why this divide exists, and what is one of the most fundamental reasons why people don't really understand what League is and can't begin to develop that healthier relationship with League. Now, I don't know about you guys. If you spent any time on the League of Legends Reddit, Summoner School Reddits, Discord communities, YouTube comments, you're seeing negative post after negative post after negative post. And maybe that's just the nature of these platforms. I don't know. But you see posts like this: League is frustrating to lose and not rewarding to win. I recently started playing League after 8 years and I absolutely regret it. League is the only game where I regret getting better. Negative kind of post after negative post after negative post. And they all kind of, cover the same things: toxic teammates, games feel out of their control, matchmaking, unbalance. It's all the same stuff, right? But how is it possible that me and many other people, and maybe you're watching this with the same experience, you don't really feel this? You're like, are we playing the same game? How is that possible? So rather than sitting here on Reddit, let's go ahead and take a look at a few examples and try to deconstruct the underlying healthy philosophy or healthy mindset that we all need to adopt and how to actually adopt it. And maybe this is a video you guys can send your friends who are struggling with their relationship with League. So what we're going to be doing here is taking a look at a few sequences of play from a recent mid-game from my solo queue. So this is me playing Jace. We're about 14 minutes 30 into the game. And what I want to start with before we even get into the details here is that one of the main things that people don't realize about League is that it is all about solving puzzles. So in a game, any game of League, say this is the timeline, minute 0 to minute 30, there are going to be probably 200 individual puzzles that you need to solve. Now I'll give you an example of a puzzle, right? An example of a puzzle can be as small as this: me here, moving back to mid lane, getting chunked by a Zoe bubble. And now that I'm chunked, I'm now in a scenario where I have to figure out, what am I going to do? I don't have TP. Do I reset now? Could I have prevented myself getting chunked there? How do I navigate this scenario given that Rift Herald's coming up in a minute and I don't have TP? This is a puzzle. You're faced with a puzzle. Now, the tricky thing about League is that you don't have the benefit or the luxury of pressing escape. Guys, but everyone wait, pause, let me just figure this out. What do I do? Right? It's a very fast game. Shit's going everywhere. People are moving everywhere. Variables are changing. Objectives are coming up. That is kind of the future of League of Legends. This is where League is. League is a very fast-paced, puzzle-solving fighting game. It's a combination of strategy and solving these puzzles at a high level through a macro lens, but also there is like a micro component. There is some sort of element of fighting involved, right? And so, you can deconstruct this as deep as you really want to, right? The way you want to view it, the people that have an incredibly sophisticated understanding of League of Legends could get to the absolute root core of why is it that, me in this case as a Jace got chunked here, and maybe what they should have done and how they could communicate their intent. And they would be able to problem solve this scenario so quickly, borderline instantaneously. And people who are less experienced in their journey, maybe they're in the lower elo brackets, they don't really know how to problem solve this. And that's okay. They just don't have that game experience. But the problem is that if you don't view this as a puzzle, you don't view this as a puzzle that has, a highest probability solution. If you're just viewing that this is it, there's no solution, this is the way the game was always going to go, and now I'm screwed and my team is going to die no matter what. If you have that mindset, then League becomes very unfun and very miserable very quickly. But if I'm actually going to get really nitpicky, if I go all the way back here, I could have actually already known that this was warded, because from before, in the LoL state before, Milio and Jinx had lane swapped onto top side, and Milio had shown to be actually placing wards on the top side of the map. So when the lane assignments got swapped up, and then again Zoe's mid, and I'm kind of chilling and playing mid to top, I should have already known that this whole area was warded before from Milio. So if I was really switched on in my lull states, I could have anticipated that, okay, in the lull states, I know Zoe's on mid wave, so I know Zoe's going to be in this area. And on top of that, Milio was just around here beforehand and showed to be warding on top side. Okay, so I maybe need to go a more conservative path, or I need to be clicking closer to my character to bait out and avoid that incoming bubble, because this is, again, aligned with Zoe's identity. This is exactly what champs like Zoe, Ari, Lux really want to do. They want to pick you in these corridors, and I could have actually had a better quality response to this scenario. But the reality is that maybe my mental stack was overwhelmed. I missed that information. I was thinking about something else. So this is the reality. This is the situation that I'm in. Now, as I'm in the scenario, you see, I'm trying to calibrate. What do I got to do? Okay, I've got Rift Hold coming up in a minute. I've got no TP. Oh shit. Okay, I'm going to catch this wave. Then I'm going to do what I can, and then I'm going to try and prevent my team from fighting on top side. That was my mindset here, right? So I catch the wave in as safest way possible, so I don't get chunked. I didn't know where Zoe was until then. I thought Zoe was actually hovering mid there, and then I start my recall. And then I notice that Rift is coming up soon in about 40 seconds. So you see here, as soon as my team moves in top Rift, I ping back. I don't want anything to happen. But maybe they ignore me because they thought they could burst the Lee Sin. Maybe they ignore me because they thought that I had TP. Maybe they ignored me because they didn't know that that Renekton could move that quickly. I don't know. Maybe they thought they could win the 3v4. I have no idea. The reality is that they had the wrong solution to this puzzle and they died. Now, I'm not taking this mistake personally. I don't think these guys are bad people. I don't think they're griefing the game. This is just simply their level of play. So, because League's an incredibly complicated game and they made a bit of a wrong error there, they made a bit of an error there. That's okay. I got it. That's the hand that I've now been dealt. I've created this scenario anyway. I have empathy for my teammates. I made mistakes. We all make mistakes. Okay, what's the next best decision I can do? I'm faced with another puzzle here. My team is dead. What am I going to do about it here, guys? Okay, so now in the lull states, I gathered a lot of information. I knew that they were all trying to chase my elite support. I don't give a shit about protecting my elite support. Leave him. I got a mid wave that needs to be attended to. And I know this Jinx is alone. So instead of actually, I use Fog of War to get a beautiful, nice QE, sidestep the incoming W, feint my, feint that I was being defensive, and get a beautiful little pick onto this Jinx and burn the barrier. Now, the next puzzle. What's the next puzzle that I'm faced with? Do I want to stay here? Do I want to contest the Rift Herald? Do I want to trade the Rift Herald off a bot tower? Okay. But because I'm using my lull sets, I'm gathering a lot of information. I'm a very seasoned veteran player. I'm able to quickly make the executive call to ping Seraphine mid, swap the lane assignments, give the Rift Herald, use this as a farming window to get bot wave, tower, and another wave, and then get a beautiful little reset for my mana mid, because I really realistically want to get to my Muramon and my second item spike as a Jace. Jinx flashes angrily, maybe trying to get revenge from before. I know that I'm safe. I got at least in the area, and I still have my flash in my back pocket. I sidestep the W, sidestep the R, and now I know Jinx has no flash, no barrier. I've got a beautiful reset. My TP's coming back up, and now I've actually, the way I view this whole scenario is that I came up with a very high quality solution to this puzzle. But notice how there were probably, 2 or 3 puzzles in the sequence of like 40 seconds, right? There were 3 puzzles. I was able to come to a really good quality solution, or the next best solution to this puzzle, in a very timely manner, right? In an alternate reality where I didn't see that Jinx was split, maybe I was busy typing in chat, raging at my teammates, venting in Discord, or whatever the fuck, the average player does. Maybe I wouldn't have, or maybe I'm playing a champ that I don't have mastery with. Maybe I would have missed this kill. Maybe I would have missed this opportunity. If I don't kill the Jinx, the game is completely different. Maybe I try to contest the Rift Herald on top side into 2v3. Maybe I don't swap the lane assignments and try to fight again when I'm not on my second item spike. Any of these inputs, any of these suboptimal solutions to these puzzles would have created the game, would have pushed the game in an alternate reality. Okay? It's not just about the plays you make, it's also about the plays you don't make. So continuing on, now I know Jinx has no barrier, no flash. I've got my second item spike. I'm well aware that I'm very, very strong. So Zoe's top. I've gathered information. I know Zoe doesn't have TP, so I'm ready to go. Let's go. Jinx has no sums. I'm with my team in the area. I'm on my 2 item spike. Let's go. And we're able to get some nice little kills. Now I know that I don't need to reset, and I also don't need to go mid. They don't need my help getting mid tower. So what do? There's another puzzle. Where do I go on the map, guys? What can I do? I can reset, I can go top, I can go mid, I can go bot. My solution to this puzzle, my perceived solution, that my intention is to go bot, because I know that if I can go bot, shove multiple waves, I'm going to get nice and farmed. I'm going to be able to make someone react on the back end when they come out of base. And now, look at this. Renekton has to react to bot wave. So now when Dragon is coming up, Renekton has to react to bot, or simply give it. Now I'm controlling the Dragon, controlling the area. knowing that you always want to be contesting dragons through mid, establishing vision controlling choke points. This is also aligned with my champ's identity. I'm also keeping in the back of my mind that I know Jinx has no flash, so I'm gathering a lot of information. Now I'm faced with a puzzle. What do I do? Do I safely clear mid wave and then move in for the team fight front to back? Do I trade the dragon off? What do I do? But here, because I saw in the heat of the moment, new information, Jinx is split on mid by herself. Milio's not there. I'm able to get, and I have flash. Boom. I'm able to get a quick little one shot onto the Jinx, and then nice back off, sidesteps some incoming projectiles, and now we're able to secure the dragon. So just like that, through a few puzzles, I was able to come up with great solutions and create a favorable game state. Now, I don't do this throughout the entire game. I make mistakes. Later on around Adakon, I make an error. I have the opportunity here to swap my lane assignments with my Ornn. Right? This is a puzzle. What do? Do I go top? Do I stay mid and siege? Do I run down mid? Do I go bottom and split push with TP? And in hindsight, the best solution to this puzzle would have actually been me better going bot. The point that I'm trying to make, guys, in a long-winded way, is that throughout the game, every 30 seconds, you're going to be faced with a new puzzle that has potential solutions. And the crazy thing about League is that it's not an A or B type thing. It's not that, I can either do A or B and these are the only solutions. There are many, many, many solutions to these puzzles. And the way I like to view it is that there is a kind of a scale. And the scale represents the quality of the decisions. There is going to be the absolute worst decision. There's going to be a decision that I would rate maybe 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10. And there is going to be a 10 out of 10 macro solution to this thing. And this is not even including the execution, of course. This is just, again, the high levels, potential solution from a macro lens, right? As you develop more champ mastery, game experience, you have, a better quality lull set usage. You're able to gather more information and process more information. Your ability to come up or identify that 10 out of 10 solution gets better and better and better. And in the meantime, you might make the 4 out of 10 solution, the 6 out of 10 solution, the 7 out of 10 solution. You may not even be literally able to see the best quality macro decision because you don't have the necessary game knowledge. And that is okay. That's what League is about. The League journey, the whole point of this game is that you need to get very, 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 very good at identifying the puzzles, solving these puzzles, and then executing your solution. That's what League is. Some of them, you're only going to have a minor impact. Some of these puzzles, they're going to be completely out of control. Maybe your team goes in too early, they die. But what does that mean? That means there's going to be another puzzle. When my team died on top side, right, they didn't listen to my pings. Welcome to League of Legends. It's out of my control. I can only focus on the next best play. And if I always focus on that next best play, next puzzle, with intention, with intensity, with poise, with respect for the difficulty of the game, with empathy for my teammates, the fact that they're probably going to make mistakes just as I make mistakes, the game becomes incredibly fun. A lot of these narratives start to disappear. A lot of these misconceptions about what League is really tend to just kind of fall to the wayside. And so when you see people on Reddit say things about, League this, League that, what it really says to me is that they're not actually understanding what League is. The closest comparison to League, guys, is that it's like poker. In poker, you're dealt a set of cards. You're dealt a hand, right? And you got to play that hand to the best of your ability. Now, if you may be the best poker player in the world, but you're not going to win every single hand, are you? Right? Because there is an element of luck. There's other variables at play. You're not in complete control of the game, right? You can only control what's in your control, right? You don't know what cards are going to be dealt. You may play the best game possible, and the enemy lucks out and wins. Same thing in League. That's why repetitions matter. I might play the best game of League in my life. I may have the best responses to all these puzzles, and I might still lose. But you know what? Mentally, I know that I've gone down swinging. I've made the enemy sweat for LP, and I know that if I put my best foot forward and I play with as much intention as possible, you know what the great thing is, guys? This is the kicker. I get beautiful learning because I can dissect all of these moments and see if really my solution was the best solution to the puzzle. And this was a game. I won this game. We end up stomping them in 27, 28 minutes. But there was so much room for optimization, especially around the Adakon. There was like 3 or 4 or 5, in my opinion, potentially game-losing puzzles, but because or solutions to puzzles, but because the enemy are also making suboptimal decisions or I executed them well, I was able to get away with it. So when you start to realize that every game is just a poker hand, and you got to play that hand to the best of your ability, and if you can look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the game, being like, you know what, I gave it my best shot. I put my best foot forward. I played with intensity. I used my lull states. I tried to solve these puzzles in the most timely manner, and you still lose. It is what it is. You're going to get great learnings. And then we go again, and then we go again, and then we go again. And the last thing I'll say is that every single game is so fun and satisfying because the variables are always different. You're playing with different types of players. You're playing with differing champions. Certain people build different items than they, even though you've played versus the same champ, maybe they have a different build or a different setup. Everything is always different. Everything is always fresh. There's always new puzzles, and everyone's getting better. So you have to improve the quality of your puzzles. And so, look, maybe this doesn't solve everyone's relationship with the game, but I feel like if you can even attempt to kind of embrace this mentality, this puzzle solving mentality, and you appreciate the beauty and the complexity of the game, League of Legends all of a sudden becomes an incredibly fun, satisfying game that, again, I would recommend to everyone as long as you appreciate its difficulty and complexity. Now, tying this back to this initial Reddit post here, right? We've got, when I'm winning, it doesn't feel rewarding. And when I'm losing, it feels like there's absolutely nothing I can do. What this is that they're not viewing the game through this puzzle lens. They're viewing the game in this big generic kind of mindset where it's like, this was the way the game was always going to play out, and there's nothing that I can do. There's no alternative to the way the game was going to play out. And I'm going to go through an example here. So this video here, this is a recent coaching session I did. I think it was with like an Emerald or something, I think it was Platinum or Emerald Vladimir here. And this is the quality of the decision making you'll see within Platinum and Emerald level of play. So basically this Vlad gets very fed. They're like 3-0, right? And instead of actually just relaxing and, getting good quality deep vision, complementing their jungler, things like that, they're completely and utterly tunnel visioned on solo killing their lane opponent. They're not even thinking about the value of the kill. They have no information about where the enemy jungler is, goes in for this solo kill under tower, even though the jungler is on the neutral objective, and ends up giving a massive bounty over to this Nocturne. And now they're confused. Why is it that I'm losing games? Why are the games feeling so difficult? Well, it's, again, you viewed this puzzle in a completely wrong lens. Your solution to this puzzle was completely wrong. After you've got the chunk, all we need to do is move over onto topside, complement our Jarvan, and get a good quality deep ward. But instead, we've done one of the lowest quality solutions to this puzzle. I would say this is down here with the 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, solution to this puzzle. As the game goes on even further, there's still this Mel, just for context, was like 0-5 or something like this at this stage of the game. So what happens here as we fast forward? Vlad literally uses flash under tower to kill this 0-5 Mel. Mel was not worth anything. This is not how you translate your lead. So in this puzzle here, all we got to do is just let the Mel live, right? Mel can just disengage. You've already basically denied most of the farm anyway. She's already 0-5, you get no gold. Conserve your flash. Instead, maybe shove a move, look for a dive play bot, secure neutral objectives, continue to get good quality deep vision. Again, this is a low quality response to the puzzle. As you get into mid game, they're getting into the side lane. What ends up happening here is they start shoving out the side lane deep, even though the rest of their team is not on the map. So if we fast forward here, they're literally shoving all the way to a tier 2. Their set is in base, their Jarvan is in base, they've got absolutely no vision. And what do we know? We die to the Nocturne because we're completely isolated and by ourselves. So again, we were faced with a puzzle. What do we do after this wave? Do we reset? Do we go mid? Where do we deploy? Do we go top? Do we swap the lane assignments? But again, this was the lowest quality, one of the lowest quality solutions to this puzzle. But the way these Reddit posts frame the game is that they kind of view this as this was the way the game was always going to go. There was no other solution. They're not even viewing this as a puzzle. They just think, oh, Nocturne's OP, he can do this, or whatever the narrative is. And so when you start to take a step back and say, okay, well, I died here, or my team died here. How did I contribute to this solution? Was my solution to this puzzle even remotely correct? And if you just kind of start to view it through the lens of like, how did I contribute to this situation? The game becomes so much more fun. And if I was to adopt the mindset of these players on Reddit, where they're complaining about, the game doesn't feel rewarding, whereby again nothing is a puzzle and then they have no impact over the games because there is no way they can change their behavior. Of course League is going to be one of the most unfun, miserable experiences. You're basically slamming your head into the wall over and over again, hoping for a different result. It's a complete slot machine gambling mindset. So, at the end of the day, guys, hopefully I didn't sound like a bit of a broken record, but this is the way I view League. This is the way League has to be viewed in order to develop a healthy relationship with the game. And I'm not saying it's going to solve all your problems. You're not magically, now that you view things as a puzzle, it's not going to solve all your problems. But at least it will give you some forward momentum. It gives you a platform to actually develop some skills. And now at least you'll be able to feel at least more satisfied about what happens in a game. It doesn't matter about if you win or lose a particular game. It doesn't matter how much LP you gain or lose. It doesn't matter what rank you are. What matters is how you solve those puzzles. What learnings did you get from these puzzles? Because over time, as you get better at these scenarios, the journey, the LP kind of just comes naturally as a byproduct, guys. So hopefully this makes sense. Otherwise, if you have any other questions, I'll see you guys around the comments.